Good morning. Today I want to talk about winning in life. Not by luck, but by adopting a mindset so relentless that no obstacle can stand in your way. Few people embody this better than David Goggins, a man who transformed himself from an overweight exterminator into a Navy SEAL, an ultramarathoner, and a beacon of mental toughness. Goggins' journey isn't about being naturally gifted. It's about mastering your mind and defying the odds. Pain is an unavoidable part of life. Most people spend their days trying to avoid it, seeking comfort and convenience at every turn. However, David Goggins, a man who transformed himself from an overweight exterminator to one of the toughest men on the planet, teaches us that pain isn't something to escape, it's something to embrace. The way you deal with pain determines how far you'll go in life. Goggins argues that pain is a powerful teacher, a necessary part of growth, and the gateway to unlocking your true potential. By facing it head on, you develop resilience, mental toughness, and a deeper understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. When you first encounter pain, whether it's physical or emotional, your instinct is to pull back. Your mind screams at you to stop, to return to a place of comfort. This is where most people quit, never realizing that they've stopped at the edge of growth. Goggins believes that this very moment, when everything in you wants to quit, is the most important moment of all. It's an opportunity to redefine what you're capable of. Pain, in his view, is a signal that you are on the right path, pushing the boundaries of your current self. The more you experience it, the more you build the capacity to endure it. Pain also has a way of stripping away all pretenses and exposing who you really are. It doesn't care about your excuses, your past achievements, or what you think you deserve. In those moments when you're exhausted, hurting, and alone, you meet your true self. Goggins calls this embracing the suck, the act of staying in the fight when every fiber of your being is telling you to stop. By doing this repeatedly, you build a mental callus that makes you tougher and more resilient each time. You learn to expect pain and, more importantly, not to fear it. The more you embrace it, the more you transform it from an enemy into an ally. What Goggins has mastered is the art of reframing pain. Instead of seeing it as a signal to stop, he interprets it as proof of progress. When he runs ultramarathons or endures grueling physical challenges, he knows the pain is a sign that he's doing something right, that he's breaking through barriers. This mindset shift is powerful because it removes the fear of pain. If you can train your mind to view discomfort as evidence that you're growing, you stop avoiding it and start seeking it out. You begin to understand that the path to any significant achievement is paved with pain, and the only way to reach the other side is to keep moving forward despite it. Another critical aspect of embracing pain is understanding that it's temporary. Pain has a way of amplifying itself in the moment, making it seem endless. But Goggins emphasizes the importance of perspective. No matter how intense the pain is right now, it will eventually fade. What lasts, however, is the growth you gain from enduring it. Every painful experience becomes a mental and emotional deposit that you can draw on in the future. Each time you push through, you build a reserve of resilience and confidence, proving to yourself that you're capable of handling more than you once believed. Goggins also teaches that embracing pain is about breaking the habit of quitting. The more often you quit when things get tough, the easier it becomes to give up the next time. On the flip side, every time you push through pain, you reinforce the habit of perseverance. It becomes a part of your identity. You become the kind of person who doesn't stop when things get hard, who finds a way to keep going no matter what. This shift in identity is crucial because it transforms how you approach challenges in every area of life, from your career to your relationships to your personal goals. In essence, embracing pain is about mastering your mind. It's about proving to yourself that you are in control, not your discomfort, not your fear, and certainly not the voice that tells you to stop. When you learn to see pain as a necessary part of the journey, you unlock a level of freedom that few people ever experience. You stop running from challenges and start running toward them, knowing that on the other side of pain lies growth, strength, and the realization that you are far more capable than you ever thought possible. Mastering your mind is perhaps the most powerful skill you can develop if you want to win in life. David Goggins, known for his unmatched mental toughness, believes that the mind is both your greatest enemy and your most powerful ally. How you talk to yourself and the narratives you create in your head shape your reality far more than external circumstances ever could. Most people allow their minds to run on autopilot, replaying doubts, fears, and excuses. However, mastering your mind means taking control of that internal dialogue, rewriting the script, and choosing thoughts that empower rather than weaken you. Goggins often speaks about the accountability mirror, a practice where he would look himself in the eye and confront the harsh truths about his life without sugarcoating anything. The purpose of this exercise is not to shame yourself, but to break the cycle of self-deception that keeps so many people stuck. By facing the truth directly, you create the opportunity to change it. This practice of brutal honesty is the first step in mastering your mind. It forces you to acknowledge your flaws, your fears, and the excuses you've been using to justify inaction. Once you've confronted these truths, you can start rewriting them. A significant part of mastering your mind is recognizing that discomfort is temporary, but quitting is permanent. Your mind is wired to seek comfort and avoid pain, a survival mechanism that served our ancestors well, but is counterproductive when pursuing greatness. The moment you decide to push beyond your comfort zone, your mind rebels, creating a flood of excuses for why you should stop. Goggins refers to this as the governor in your mind, a limiter that holds you back long before you've reached your actual limits. By becoming aware of this mechanism, you can learn to ignore it. When you push past the initial wave of discomfort, you prove to your mind that you are in control, not your fears or fatigue. Goggins also emphasizes the importance of positive self-talk. Most people are their own worst critics, constantly replaying their mistakes and shortcomings. However, your internal dialogue should be that of a coach, not a critic. When you tell yourself, "I've got this," or "keep going," you're not just offering encouragement, you're rewiring your brain to expect success rather than failure. This is not about lying to yourself or ignoring real challenges, but about refusing to amplify doubts that hold you back. Positive self-talk serves as a powerful counterbalance to the negativity that naturally arises when you're doing hard things. Another powerful tool in mastering your mind is visualization. Goggins speaks about creating a mental cookie jar filled with past victories and achievements that you can draw from in moments of doubt. When you're exhausted and your mind is urging you to quit, reaching into this cookie jar reminds you of all the times you've faced challenges and come out stronger. This practice is about building a reservoir of proof that you are capable of more than you think. By vividly recalling these moments of triumph, you shift your focus from the pain of the present to the pride of past achievements, which fuels you to keep going. Mastering your mind also involves accepting full responsibility for your actions. Blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck is easy, but it keeps you powerless. Goggins argues that radical accountability, owning everything in your life, including your failures, is the path to freedom. When you accept that your life is a result of your choices, you also accept that you have the power to change it. This mindset is incredibly liberating because it turns every obstacle into an opportunity to prove what you're capable of. Finally, mastering your mind requires a relentless commitment to doing the hard things, even when you don't feel like it. Motivation is fleeting and unreliable, but discipline is a choice you can make every day. Goggins often says that you have to do things you hate to become the person you want to be. This means running when you're tired, studying when you're distracted, and pushing forward when every part of you wants to stop. The more you do this, the more you train your mind to see difficult tasks not as threats, but as opportunities to build strength and character. In essence, mastering your mind is about reclaiming control from the instincts that want to keep you safe and comfortable. It's about understanding that pain, fear, and doubt are inevitable, but that they don't have to dictate your actions. When you learn to quiet the voice that says stop and amplify the one that says keep going, you unlock a level of freedom and potential that few people ever reach. You become the master of your mind, and in doing so, the master of your fate. Callousing your mind is a concept that David Goggins talks about extensively. It's a process of hardening your mental state to make it resilient against pain, discomfort, and adversity, much like how your hands develop calluses through repeated hard work. For Goggins, this isn't just about enduring physical pain, but about systematically exposing yourself to things you find difficult or uncomfortable until they no longer hold power over you. The goal is to train your mind to override the natural instinct to seek comfort and avoid pain, allowing you to push through challenges that would break most people. Most people live their lives avoiding discomfort at all costs. They hit the snooze button instead of getting up early, skip workouts when they're tired, and abandon projects when they get hard. The problem with this approach is that it creates a habit of quitting. Every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce the idea that it's acceptable to give up when things get tough. Callousing your mind flips this approach on its head. It's about doing the hard things on purpose every day to build a habit of perseverance. It's about proving to yourself that you can push through pain, fatigue, and self-doubt because you've done it before again and again. Callousing your mind starts with small acts of discipline. Goggins often emphasized the importance of taking souls, a phrase he uses to describe outworking those around you when they least expect it. This could mean running an extra mile when your body wants to stop, or studying for another hour when you're mentally drained. The point isn't to impress others, but to prove to yourself that you can always do more than you think. Each time you choose to push a little further, you're building a callus on your mind that makes it easier to push even further next time. Pain is a central element in callousing your mind because it forces you to confront your limitations. Most people quit the moment they feel discomfort because their minds tell them they can't go any further. Goggins argues that this is a lie. According to him, when you feel like you're done, you're actually only at 40% of your potential. By pushing through pain instead of surrendering to it, you expand your understanding of what you're capable of. The more you do this, the less power pain has over you. It becomes just another obstacle to move through rather than an insurmountable barrier. Fear is another area where callousing your mind is crucial. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These are all mental barriers that keep people from taking action. Goggins doesn't believe in eliminating fear because fear is natural and in some cases useful. Instead, he believes in acting in spite of fear. By repeatedly exposing yourself to situations that scare you, whether that's public speaking, difficult conversations, or physically demanding challenges, you desensitize your mind to fear. The more you face what scares you, the less control it has over your action. Building a callous mind also requires embracing suffering. Goggins has repeatedly put himself through grueling physical challenges, not just for the sake of physical fitness, but to condition his mind to endure suffering without breaking. Ultra marathons, intense workouts, and military training were all ways to teach his mind to stay in the fight when every part of his body wanted to quit. This approach isn't about being a masochist or loving pain. It's about realizing that suffering is temporary, but quitting is permanent. When you train your mind to stay focused and determined in the midst of suffering, you develop an unshakable resilience that applies to every area of life. Another key aspect of callousing your mind is rejecting the comfort zone. Comfort is seductive because it feels good in the moment, but it's a trap that prevents growth. Every day you need to find ways to do something that makes you uncomfortable, whether that's waking up earlier, making a difficult phone call, or pushing yourself harder in a workout. Each act of discomfort is a mental workout, a way to toughen your mind for the bigger challenges that will inevitably come. Over time, what once felt hard becomes routine, and you're able to tackle even more significant challenges with the same mindset. Callousing your mind also means letting go of the need for external validation. When you constantly seek approval from others, you give them control over your actions. Goggins believes that true mental toughness comes from doing things that are hard and necessary, regardless of whether anyone else notices or approves. The focus should always be on proving something to yourself, not to others. When you stop caring about what others think, you free yourself to pursue your goals with relentless focus and determination. Callousing your mind is about building a reserve of strength that you can draw on in difficult times. Life is full of unexpected challenges, loss, failure, rejection, and a callous mind doesn't crumble under pressure. It finds a way forward, not because the pain isn't real, but because the mind has been trained to endure it without flinching. This kind of mental toughness doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of choosing discipline over comfort, action over excuses, and persistence over quitting day in and day out. When you have a callous mind, no obstacle feels too big to overcome, and no challenge seems impossible. Staying uncommon amongst the uncommon is a mindset that David Goggins emphasizes as the key to achieving greatness. Most people aspire to be average or at best slightly above average. They aim to blend in, to reach a level of comfort where they can relax and stop pushing themselves. However, Goggins argues that true success lies not just in being better than the average person, but in standing out even among the best. It's about constantly raising your standards and refusing to settle, no matter how much you've already accomplished. This mindset is rare because it demands continuous effort and an unwavering commitment to growth, even when most people would call it quits. To be uncommon amongst the uncommon, you first have to redefine what success means to you. For most, success is a destination, a point at which they can rest and enjoy the fruits of their labor. For Goggins, success is a journey without a finish line. The moment you start coasting, you begin to regress. This is why so many people who achieve great things in one area of their life end up plateauing or even backsliding. They become satisfied with being good enough. Goggins believes that the goal should never be to reach a point of comfort, but to constantly seek out new challenges, no matter how much you've already achieved. This relentless pursuit of better is what separates the uncommon from the common and the truly exceptional from the merely good. One of the biggest obstacles to staying uncommon is complacency. It's easy to work hard when you have something to prove, but it's much harder to maintain that same level of intensity once you've proven it. Goggins speaks about how, after becoming a Navy SEAL, he realized that many of the best operators would start to let up once they earned the trident. It's much harder to maintain that same level of intensity once you've proven it. This is why it's so unsafe to make a statement that we are the best. Because the minute you said that, what does that mean? They had reached what most people would consider the pinnacle of toughness and skill, and they allowed that achievement to justify taking it easy. For Goggins, this was a wake-up call. He decided that he would not just be a SEAL, he would be the best SEAL he could possibly be, and then he would keep pushing even beyond that. This is the essence of staying uncommon, never allowing past achievements to become an excuse for present complacency. Another key aspect of being uncommon amongst the uncommon is holding yourself to a higher standard than anyone else does. Most people base their efforts on what others expect of them, doing just enough to be seen as competent or impressive. Goggins, however, believes that the only standards that matter are the ones you set for yourself. This means showing up early, working harder than anyone else, and refusing to cut corners even when no one is watching. It's about doing the right thing because you demand it of yourself, not because you want recognition or praise. This internal standard of excellence creates a kind of invincibility because your motivation is self-generated and not dependent on external validation. The path to staying uncommon also requires embracing a mindset of continual learning. Most people stop learning the moment they achieve a certain level of success. They become content with what they know and stop seeking out new information or skills. Goggins believes that to stay uncommon, you have to see yourself as a perpetual student. This means being willing to admit what you don't know, seeking out new challenges, and learning from those who are better than you. It's about cultivating a hunger for improvement that never goes away, no matter how much you've already achieved. Another challenge to staying uncommon is dealing with isolation. The higher you climb, the fewer people you'll find who understand your drive and ambition. Many will try to pull you back down to their level, not out of malice, but because your determination makes them uncomfortable about their own complacency. Goggins argues that you have to be prepared to walk alone if necessary. You can't rely on others to validate your efforts or to keep you motivated. This is why building mental toughness is so crucial. When you're alone in your pursuit, the only voice you'll have to keep you going is your own. Staying uncommon also means embracing humility. This might seem contradictory, but true humility isn't about thinking less of yourself. It's about recognizing how much more there is to learn and how much further you can go. Goggins often speaks about the danger of believing your own hype. The moment you start thinking you've made it, you stop pushing yourself. Being uncommon means constantly reminding yourself that there's always someone better, always more to learn, and always another level to reach. This humility is what keeps you grounded and hungry, even after significant achievements. In essence, staying uncommon amongst the uncommon is about refusing to accept limits, those imposed by others and those you unconsciously impose on yourself. It's about rejecting the idea that there is ever a point at which you can stop growing or stop pushing. It's a commitment to a lifelong pursuit of better, driven by an internal standard that no one else can see or measure. This mindset is rare because it's exhausting, lonely, and demands a level of honesty and self-discipline that most people aren't willing to maintain. But it's also the mindset that leads to true greatness, to a life where your potential is constantly being tested and expanded. When you stay uncommon amongst the uncommon, you redefine what's possible for yourself and inspire others to do the same. Embracing the suck is a phrase David Goggins often uses to describe the mindset required to push through adversity and discomfort. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid anything that feels hard or unpleasant. They hit the snooze button instead of getting up early, skip workouts when they're tired, and quit when tasks become difficult. This instinct to seek comfort is natural, but it's also the enemy of growth. Goggins argues that if you want to achieve anything meaningful, you have to embrace the suck. That is, you have to accept and even welcome discomfort as an essential part of the process. It's not about loving pain or suffering for its own sake, but about understanding that the path to greatness is paved with struggle and difficulty. The first step to embracing the suck is accepting that discomfort is inevitable. No matter how talented or prepared you are, there will be times when you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, or demoralized. Most people waste energy wishing things were easier or waiting for motivation to strike. Goggins argues that this is a trap. The reality is that anything worth achieving will require you to do things you don't want to do, day in and day out. By accepting discomfort as a normal part of the process, you stop wasting energy resisting it and start using that energy to push forward. It's about shifting your mindset from why me to try me. Goggins also emphasizes the importance of doing the hard things on purpose. Many people believe that discipline is about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. Goggins, however, sees it differently. For him, discipline is about choosing to do hard things because you know they will make you stronger. This is why he deliberately seeks out challenges that others avoid, whether it's ultra-endurance races, grueling workouts, or confronting personal fears. Each time you choose to embrace discomfort, you build a little more mental callus, making it easier to face the next challenge. Over time, you start to see discomfort not as something to dread, but as proof that you're on the right path. Embracing the suck also requires a shift in how you interpret pain. For most people, pain is a signal to stop, to retreat to something safer and more comfortable. Goggins argues that pain is just information, a message from your body or mind that you're reaching your limits. The trick is to see this information as an opportunity rather than a threat. When you push through pain, you prove to yourself that your limits are further away than you thought. This process isn't about ignoring pain, but about learning to interpret it differently. Instead of seeing pain as a reason to quit, you learn to see it as a sign that you're growing. Another key aspect of embracing the suck is focusing on the process rather than the outcome. Many people are fixated on results, losing weight, getting promoted, winning races. The problem with this mindset is that results are often out of your control. You can eat right, train hard, and still lose a race because of factors beyond your control. Goggins argues that true power comes from falling in love with the process, the daily grind of doing the work, whether you feel like it or not. When you focus on the process, you detach from the need for immediate rewards and become more resilient to setbacks. This shift in focus makes it easier to embrace discomfort because you're not just enduring it for a specific outcome, you're enduring it because that's what the path requires. Self-talk also plays a crucial role in embracing the suck. Goggins often speaks about the power of the accountability mirror, a practice where he would look himself in the eye and confront the brutal truth about his weaknesses and failures. This kind of self-honesty is essential because it strips away the excuses and justifications that make it easy to quit. When you admit that you're avoiding discomfort because it's hard, not because it's impossible, you take back control. Positive self-talk isn't about pretending things aren't hard. It's about reminding yourself that you're capable of doing hard things. When you tell yourself, I can handle this, or one step at a time, you're not just offering encouragement, you're giving yourself a script to follow when things get tough. Embracing the suck also means being willing to fail. Many people avoid difficult challenges because they're afraid of failing and looking foolish. Goggins argues that failure is an essential part of growth. Each time you fail, you learn something new about your limits, your weaknesses, and the areas you need to improve. The goal is not to avoid failure, but to use it as a stepping stone. When you embrace the suck, you stop fearing failure because you understand that every failure is just another opportunity to toughen your mind and refine your approach. Embracing the suck is about making discomfort your new normal. Most people dip their toes into discomfort only when necessary and retreat as soon as possible. Goggins argues that if you want to become truly resilient, you need to live in discomfort. This doesn't mean pushing yourself to the point of injury or burnout, but finding ways every day to do things that challenge you mentally and physically. Over time, what used to feel unbearably hard becomes routine, and your capacity to handle stress and adversity grows exponentially. In essence, embracing the suck is about making a choice. You can choose to live a life of comfort and ease, avoiding anything that feels hard or unpleasant. Or you can choose to embrace discomfort as the price of growth, to see each challenge as an opportunity to become stronger, tougher, and more capable. When you make that choice day after day, you build a mindset that can handle anything life throws at you. You become the kind of person who doesn't just survive adversity, but thrives in it, who sees pain not as an enemy, but as the path to greatness.